Listen carefully. Not to my words, but to what vibrates behind them. Have you ever felt that the moment you try to explain a deep feeling, it loses its strength? As if by putting a name to an experience, you were locking it in a box too small for it? This is not an error of your mind, it is the design of the system. Words are the first level of the simulation. They were given to you so you could label reality, and the moment you label something, you stop interacting with the living energy and start interacting only with the name. The system trained you to be a translator. You feel something infinite in your essence, but you try to translate it into the limited vocabulary of the matrix. And in this translation, 90% of your power is lost. The world taught you to speak with your mouth so you would forget how to command with your being. The system loves it when you use words to manifest because words are the language of duality. When you say, "I want peace," the simulation reads the hidden code behind the phrase, "I do not have peace." Words are frequencies of scarcity disguised as desire. Every time you affirm something verbally, you are operating within the rules of the architect's game. He controls the dictionary, therefore he controls the outcome. Words are slow, heavy, and subject to the system's interpretation. They are like trying to draw a masterpiece using only building blocks. They never reach the subtlety of your divinity. Your essence does not know the alphabet, it knows vibration. It does not use nouns, it uses states of being. The system wants you to keep shouting at the sky because as long as you use their words, you will remain a subject asking for permission instead of an author issuing a decree. But here's where it gets dangerous. If you don't learn to speak the language of your essence, you will spend your entire life manifesting exactly what you fear, never understanding why the universe seems to ignore you. To access your true power, you must demechanize your communication. You must understand that thinking in words is just the surface of a much deeper ocean. Have you ever noticed that when you truly know something, you don't need a sentence to explain it to yourself? This pure sapience is your native language. It is an instantaneous data transmission that needs no processing time. The system keeps you addicted to constant internal dialogue so that your mental processor is always busy translating life instead of creating life. The silence we learned in the previous video was not just for rest. It was to clear the noise of the dictionary and allow your original language, the language of your essence and pure feeling, to operate again. You are about to learn to speak the language that matter is forced to obey. Words are no longer enough to describe your journey. You are ready to access the next level. Leave your like as a command of readiness. Subscribe to Wake to activate your native code. Breathe. Let go of the dictionary. Let's speak with the soul. If the matrix doesn't understand words, what does it understand? The answer is simple, but the system made you forget it. Feeling. But not the reactive feeling, the one the world causes in you. I am talking about the feeling you generate from your essence. But this is the part no one tells you. It's not about positive thinking or repeating phrases in the mirror. If your body vibrates in fear while your mouth speaks of prosperity, the matrix will always ignore your voice and obey your fear. The truth they hide from you is that reality is not made of words but of waves. The system trained you to feel after something happens. You win something and feel joy, you lose something and feel pain. This is being a passive terminal. The real language inverts this flow. You learn to sustain the frequency of your intention before the mirror of reality reflects it. For your essence, there is no difference between what you are feeling now and what the world calls the future. When you generate a state of absolute fullness in the silence of your sanctuary, you are sending a holographic pulse that the system cannot ignore. You are not asking for a change. You are informing matter that reality has already changed. The second layer of your native language is vision. But it is not imagining it like a movie on the screen of your mind, it is feeling the form. Words are linear, one letter after another. The geometry of the essence is instantaneous. When you sustain a clear intention, your divine mind projects shapes of light that act as molds for reality. The system tries to pollute your imagination with images of fear, scarcity, and disaster through the screens you consume, because it knows that your imagination is your design table. If it controls what you visualize, it controls what you project. Reclaiming your original language means clearing these external projections and returning to drawing your own geometry. This is what we call the holographic command. The moment your vision and your feeling become one, the command is sealed. There is no room for doubt because there are no words to question it. The greatest advantage of speaking the language of the essence is that it is undetectable to the ego. The ego lives in language. It loves to debate, doubt, and argue. When you try to change your life using verbal affirmations, your ego often replies, "That's not true." And just like that, the signal is cut. But the ego cannot debate with a pure frequency. It has no vocabulary to contest a feeling of unshakable sovereignty or an image of absolute light. When you emit your native command, you pass under the system's radar. You find no resistance because you are not entering into a discussion with reality, you are simply being the new reality. It is a one-way transmission, from the inside out. The system is the receiver and you is the signal. And a clean signal, emitted from point zero, has the power to reorganize the atoms around you without needing to utter a single sound. How do you start speaking this language today? The first step is the hardest for those trained by the system. Stop trying to explain. The moment you try to describe to someone, or even to yourself, what you are creating, you bring the energy back into the world of words. You reduce a giant to an ant. Your power must remain hidden until it becomes matter. And this is why most people fail. They feel a spark of power and run to tell someone, seeking validation. The moment you open your mouth to explain your dream, the internal pressure escapes, the signal weakens, and the simulation simply erases your creation before it is even born. The system feeds on your need for validation. When you keep your command in the silence of your chest, you build pressure. It is this pressure that makes the signal pierce through the simulation barrier. Learn to sustain your vision without needing names. Learn to feel your victory without needing justifications. Your essence does not explain, it simply emits. Now understand the final secret. Reality does not react to what you want, it reacts to what you sustain. The system counts on your instability. It knows you can feel power for 5 minutes, but then the noise returns and you go back to speaking the language of doubt. Mastery consists of making your native feeling more real than the walls around you. When you reach this state, you are no longer asking the mirror to change the image. You are the face that has changed, and the mirror has no choice but to follow you. You become a constant emitter of a new frequency. The world around you will begin to reorganize. People, situations, and opportunities will appear out of nowhere. Not because you were lucky, but because you finally stopped using the vocabulary of survival and started issuing the command of who truly is the owner of their own reality. The time for asking permission is over. The time for dictating the rules has begun. The system is confused. It cannot read what you are feeling right now because there are no words for it to track. You are, at this very moment, operating off the radar. If you are ready to abandon the Matrix dictionary and start writing your own story in light, leave your like. This is your seal of commitment to your sovereignty. Subscribe to Wake for the high-frequency protocols to come. And today, let's seal this command in a different way. Don't use long sentences. Let's use the code. Go to the comments and write only, code active. By doing so, you inform your subconscious and the network that your native language has been restored. Words were your first prison. Silence was your return to the throne. And vibration is now your real command. Don't ask for permission to be great. Don't use the system's vocabulary to describe your future. Just feel. Just see. Just emit. The system governs through paper. You govern through the pulse. The time for petitions is over. The time for decrees has begun. The signal is yours. The pen is yours. Reality is yours. I am the source. Welcome to Wake.